Next. So the most important cause, that is greenhouse effect. So any one of you can say what is the role of the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere? 8th class geography, right? We all know. Any one of you? Yes, Gaurav?
Sir, it's trap the heat of the sun and don't allow it to return to space.
Yeah, exactly. But here the point of concern in today's time is that the excessive amount of greenhouse gases due to the human activities, which led to excessive layer in the atmosphere, which so it does not allow maximum of the rays to transfer back into the solar system, which results in the increase of the Earth's temperature and leads to global warming, and finally leads to temperature rise. So some of the major greenhouse gases in the atmosphere are carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide. We will discuss it in the further. Next slide. So global temperature rise. So what is this term means? Global temperature rise is the rise which has defined by many experts that it should be particular rise which is expected in a century over the Earth's temperature. So 1.5 degrees Celsius is expected to cope up with according to our condition. But looking at the present scenario, we are expecting 2.8 degrees Celsius rise in temperature, which would be very much hazardous and could cause dreadful effect to Earth's climate. So it's a point of concern for all of us. Next slide. So temperature rise is only the beginning of the story. Because the Earth is a system where everything is connected, changes in one area definitely influence the changes in all. As the temperature rise results in melting of glaciers at poles, rise in sea levels, unexpected forest fires, actions on.
It's as if the ground is saying, I'm thirsty too. Next, coming to social threats. Number one, health. It's a reminder that sunscreen and a fluffy hat are not the only things we need to protect ourselves from the sun's sizzling embrace. The changing climate creates opportunities for diseases to spread to areas that were once considered safe. Next, healthcare systems struggle to keep up, leaving vulnerable populations hanging. Changing climate impacts the unemployed, socially marginalized, and women disproportionately. Next, coming to business threats. Number one, energy. Heat waves are not just about feeling the sun, they also play tricks on our energy supply. As temperature rises and droughts become more common, the availability of cooling water for thermal power generation in summer becomes limited. Next, heat and drought wage war on agriculture, causing substantial production losses. In the scorching south, high temperatures and water scarcity challenge crop yields. But wait, the forest is under attack too. Climate change unleashes its fury with increased droughts, storms, and fires, geopardenizing precious plant communities. Next, now let's see territorial threats too. Number 4, the Arctic. You all might be noticing the word permafrost. But what does that mean? Permafrost refers to a layer of soil, rock, or sediment that remains continuously frozen for 2 or more consecutive years. Melting permafrost unleashes colossal amounts of methane and carbon dioxide, intensifying the greenhouse effect. Arctic waters turns acidic as they absorb more CO2. The fragile balance is disturbed, posing a profound challenge to the Arctic's delicate territories. Next, the Indian Ocean too is heating up rapidly, surpassing other ocean regions. The Maldives and Mauritius face extreme vulnerability to impending climate changes threatening their very existence. Now let's find solutions. So, the measures to control and reduce the impact of climate change are: Number 1, forest conservation and reforestation. Unlocking the potential of forest restoration and establishment is key to combat climate change. The bond challenges ambitious goal to restore 350 million hectares by 2030 is a game changer. Forests not only mitigate climate change but also provide benefits like biodiversity support, improved air and water quality, disaster protection, and recreational opportunities. By implementing mechanisms like carbon taxes or cap and trade system, we ignite a green revolution. Industries are spurred to cut emissions, embrace cleaner technologies, and reap economic rewards through sustainable practices. It is a win-win for the environment and the economy. By improving energy efficiency, we pave the way for a sustainable future. It's a smart move to save both the planet and our pockets. Embracing renewable energy like solar, wind, and hydropower brings a breath of fresh air. We unlock limitless power while reducing emissions and creating a brighter, greener future for generations to come. Unlock the power of sustainable transportation by choosing eco friendly options like public transportation, walking, biking, and electric vehicles to steer towards a greener future. Now that we have explored the significance of reducing emissions in the transportation sector, let's zoom in on a game changing solution: electric vehicles, EVs. Get ready to plug into the future of mobility. I would hand over the further presentation to Jayesh. Thank you.
Thank you. So, all of you must have heard about the internal combustion engines, and you must be familiar with this that they use fossil fuels like petrol and diesel. But while we talk about electric vehicles, it uses one or more than one electric motors, and these motors are powered by the rechargeable lithium-ion batteries. And these batteries are plugged into an external power source to charge, just like any other electric devices do. And the other battery type which exists rely on regenerative braking or electricity generation from a frictional energy of the vehicle to charge. Next. So right now, EV, there are basically three types of EV which are in existence right now. And this classification is entirely based upon that how much they rely on electricity as a power source. So the first one is BEV, which is stand for battery electric vehicles. So they power from an external electrical outlet for charging. They are electricity only vehicles without any petrol engine, fuel tank, or any exhaust pipe. And the second one is PHEV, which is plugged in hybrid electric vehicles, and it runs on both petrol as well as electricity, and they are capable of regenerative braking. So what is regenerative braking is that it is an energy recovery mechanism. It slows down your vehicle or moving object by converting its kinetic energy into a form that can be either used immediately or stored until it's needed. And it also have batteries that can be recharged by external outlet. Whether we talk about the hybrid electric vehicles, it uses diesel and electricity both as a power source. But what is the one thing that differentiates PHEVs from HEVs from PHEV is that it exclusively uses regenerative braking to recharge their batteries. Means there is no like external powered recharge facility for HEVs, and these EVs use their electric motors. But while driving, when the load or the speed increases, the electric motors supplemented by the petrol engine. Next one, EV versus internal combustion engine vehicles. So there is no cylinders or any kind of internal combustion mechanism takes place in EV, which is why there is no need of tailpipe as they don't produce any exhaust gases. And the second one is that many electric vehicles charging their stations charge with renewable energy. Next one. So if we compare our conventional electrical combustion engines with electrical EVs, then EVs emit very few pollutants, partly because they don't burn any kind of fossil fuels as like elect- uh, internal combustion engines. combustion engines. The emissions of the regional air pollutants has dramatically decreased in last few years. It's just because EVs has takes place of the traditional internal combustion engines in automobiles. And if you talk about the pollutants, it involves hazardous particulates, matters, and gases like nitrogen oxide, carbon monoxide, and sulfur dioxides. Next one. And the next difference it creates that it compared to the internal combustion engine, electric motors using EVs are more efficient in converting energy. And with batteries, more energy, more electrical energy is being converted into usual mechanical energy that will be electric motors. And even the energy losses are very few and very less. So but it gives us higher overall efficiency than conventional internal combustion engines. Next one. And so, as we have seen earlier, so because of their lower emissions, integration of renewable energy, energy efficiency, and sustainable manufacturing practices, EVs are which is why these are the major reasons, which is why EV is an essential component of sustainable transportation system. And our infrastructure must continue to improve for EVs to completely realize their promise for providing sustainable transportation. So now I will hand over next presentation to Nitish Mehta.
Thank you, Jayesh. A very warm good morning, good evening to all of you. My name is Behra Nitish, and we from student chapter of Team Phoenix Racing are here to exhibit our club, which has been moving towards electric vehicles for past 4 years. Now, after long efforts that the designing is complete and ready, we will finally develop an EV, one of the most important solutions to climatic change. And as the students making an EV, we will be supporting the idea of making all the commercial vehicles electric in future for sustainable transportation. Next. Okay, you can see this is our first electric vehicle and we have secured overall first rank in National Go-Kart Design Challenge. We have also filed a design pattern for this design. It could reach the top speed of 90 km per hour, which is very impressive for a student-made kart. Next, after such achievements in go-kart, we have shifted to online competitions because of pandemic COVID-19. We have participated in Formula Bharat Electric Vehicle Class 1 2023, which is a competition based on the complete design of formula style of racing car and can powered by electric motors, securing overall third rank and first rank in concept goal and management event, which is really impressive as we overtook even IITs and NITs at national level. Next. Now finally, pandemic is over. We are back to the race. We are participating in Formula Bharat Electric Vehicle 2024 Class 2 and are manufacturing an electric car after a long period. Our most of the CAD models are ready and manufacturing practices are going on. Our electric motors have also arrived, all this pointing in the direction that the car will be present at SUNIT in January 2024, ready for race. So start the video. So in this video, you can see or observe that this is the chassis CAD model of electric vehicle of ours 2024. You can see. Although this is the first time we are manufacturing a formula style electric car, but still with our seniors' support and everyone's dedication to the club, we can sustain same positioning and in upcoming years as in previous. Next. Okay, now talking about careers in EV industry, that is first is designing and engineering. Designing and creating parts and systems for electric cars requires the skills of both electrical engineer and mechanical engineer. This covers powertrains, power electronics, batteries, motors, and softwares. And manufacturing. It includes electrical and mechanical engineers' expertise that required for designing and building components for systems of EV and or electric vehicles. Power electronics, batteries, motors, all are covered in this manufacturing. And third is researchers and developers of new electric vehicle technologies require both scientists, electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, and this side covers software development, powertrain design, and battery technologies. So now I will hand over to Pritish to continue the meet in forward direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitish. Now, I would request you, Vidatri ma'am, to say a few words to our students.
Am I audible to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
And it
Good
is so
evening,
nice
ma'am.
to meet all of you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Feeling as if, good evening. I'm feeling as if I've come back to SPNIT from where I graduated. And it is feeling so nice to see all of you and to meet all of you, although virtually. And I'm also happy that today you've all picked up this very sensitive and important topic of climate change. Understanding it is so important for this generation and the generations to come. And that the SAE has taken the initiative to not just discuss the issues, but to also come up with the solutions. And they really have something to offer as a solution to the society. So, first of all, wishing all of you a very happy World Environment Day, and also I would like to congratulate all of you to come up with solutions to this issue of climate change.
Thank you,
Today,
ma'am.
today I would also like to share my views on how can we nurture nature. And I would like to do a small presentation. So, how can we nurture nature? And for this, I would like to introduce an inside out approach today. So, first of all, what is nature? I hope you're able to see my presentation. If not, then you can let me know. So, what is nature? How would you like to define nature? It is very difficult to define nature, but fairly, what would you like to use to define nature? What do you understand from nature? Any thoughts?
Creation made by God.
It is a creation of God. True. Any other idea about nature? What you said is absolutely true, but if anybody would like to present any other idea, they are welcome. So, if nature is creation of God, what is our nature? How would creation of God be like? Would it be stressed? Would it be unhealthy? Would it be unhappy? What do you think so? We always feel nature is something outside. But let me reveal this fact to you. Nature, as you rightly said, is creation of God. And what we carry within ourselves is also nature. Sometimes you say, right, that this is my nature. So your characteristics are also nature. Your body is also nature. It is also made of the same elements that are outside. So nature is a beautiful creation of God. Nature is also something that always gives. Nature is something which is as designed. When something is very natural in its most original form, you say it is nature, it is its nature. So what is original is nature. And when you play with its originality, it doesn't remain natural then. It becomes modified, it becomes designed. But what is already there as designed, that is nature. So, what is your nature? This is something that I would not expect you to answer right now, but yes, definitely you can think over it, and at least for yourself, you can identify what is your nature. If you ask me, or if you ask yourself, what is the nature of water? You all have the answer. What is the nature of a tree? You all have a name. You all have the answer. But if I ask you what is your nature, it takes us some time to think over it. And now, nature outside and our nature, they are very much correlated. For example, the definition of climate change that was given initially and the presentation was talking about how we can deal with it, how it is created, what is its impact. So, its impact is on us and it is also being created by us. I hope we all appreciate this fact. We all understand this fact. So, there's a very deep connection with our nature and the nature outside. And what is beautiful in nature is the diversity. There's so many different colors, different patterns, varieties. And even our life is all about diversity. It is all about dynamism. We never thought we would be here today, 10 years down the line. Many of you wouldn't have thought that. Many of you would have had the aim, but then we have seen so many things changing in our life so quickly, so fast. So, just like the nature outside is dynamic, our life is also very dynamic. And our relationship with nature. So, presently, the noise of our thoughts, of our desires, competition, machines, traffic, and whatever we see outside, the concrete things, they have brought us to a state where we no longer listen to the rhythms of nature. Those days have passed long back when we could actually sit in our balconies, enjoy the drizzle, see the sunset. You hardly see the sunset now. You don't know behind which building the sun has set. You hardly see the sunset. You can hardly see the stars in the night sky. You can hardly hear to birds chirping in the morning because by the time we wake up, sometimes the whole scene of birds chirping has already gone. And we are so much into our earphones, we're so much into our talking to some big people around us on phone, we hardly pay attention to what's happening in the nature around us. And so, because our attitude towards nature has changed, we no longer listen to the rhythms of nature. We rarely sit under a tree. We rarely walk on foot in the garden. We have our own vehicles, we have everything. So, our connection with nature has lost. And so, nature has also lost its connection with us. So, because we are not able to appreciate the qualities of nature around us, nature has also, I would not say stop giving or constrain giving, although it's giving, but we are not the ones who are receiving it anymore. So, as the microcosm, so the macrocosm is the rule of the nature, which means if you see, for example, if you have to understand what is your blood profile, I'm sure you must have done your CVC test at some point of time, your blood test to know what's your hemoglobin, to know how much RBCs and white blood cells do you have, what are your platelet counts, etc. Right? That's called CBC. So if you have to do CBC of your blood, you don't take out the whole blood of the body and you start testing each and every drop. You only test a few drops, and from those few drops, you can understand the whole blood profile. This is called as the microcosm, so the macrocosm. So by understanding the sample, you can understand the whole thing. So, if you want to understand the macrocosm of the universe, just look at yourself. You are the microcosm. You are that sample of the universe. What's going on here is what's going on there. If you are feeling fearful, if you are feeling uncertain, there's uncertainty in the environment. If you are feeling pain and you ask 10 people, there are high chances that 8 of them will also be in pain. Because that's the energy we are creating and transmitting into the universe. And everybody out there is receiving that energy. And they are also feeling the same. And if they are transmitting some energy, it's coming to you, you can feel the same. You must have sometimes noticed or felt that you enter a room and you feel the vibrations of the room are not so good. You feel that something very serious is happening and you feel like, I think I've come at the wrong time, let me come back at some other time. Have you felt that ever in your life? You've entered a wrong, you've entered a place at a wrong time? Have you ever felt so? How many of you have felt so? Can just say a yes. Nobody? I think you're writing in the chat, but I don't think I am able to see the chat simultaneously. So you can just prompt a yes if you have. Because I'm not sure. I'll have to exit the presentation mode.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? What about others?
Yes, ma'am. Repeat.
Yes? So we all can feel the energy around us. We all can feel that the person coming to us is coming with some negative thoughts, with some negative intentions. Is he or she coming to harm us or not? So what is this? We're not speaking to each other, but we're just understanding each other's vibration, which means our vibrations are transmitted to the environment and we do receive the vibrations of other people which are also there in the environment transmitted by them. So our vibrations, our inner state shapes our environment. Now, coming to the actual environment, the physical environment. So, we've understood that our inner environment actually shapes the outer environment. Let me just give you a very small detail of it. Coming back to the previous slide, let me give you a very small detail of it. The air molecules that are there in your body were a few seconds ago part of the environment. You inhaled them, and now they have become part of your body. And what you exhaled has become part of the environment now. And very soon it will be the part of other people. Those air molecules that you have exhaled will be a part of someone else's body because they will inhale the same. You drink water and then you perspire. So, what you take from the environment goes back to the environment. Even when the soul leaves the body is discarded, the body is, it disseminates into the 5 elements once again. Whether you burn it, whether you bury it, the intention is that let the physical elements of nature go back to nature and let them recompose and create a new body. So we are also interconnected because we are exchanging everything through the same medium, which is the nature. So the nature, the 5 elements that I have in this body are so much dependent on the elements outside. And the elements outside are so much dependent on the elements of this body. So now looking at the future, just look at what Mumbai of 2025 could be. The rising sea levels because of climate change are actually heading towards submerging the coastline of Mumbai. This is the gateway of India, can become the actual gateway for the ocean to come inside the whole city. Do we want this to be our future? Or do we want this to be our future? This is Mount Everest of 2035. The global warming can deprive Mount Everest of its heavy ice cover. The glaciers are melting. And if not controlled, if something is not done, this would be the Mount Everest of 2025. Agra of 2040. The white wonder can actually turn into a black monument because of the high pollution levels. This could be Kolkata in 2025, 45. Growing pollutions can make life miserable, not just in Kolkata, but in all major cities where we have industries, where we have industrialization and modernization. So it may cost us our lives, it may cost us our future. Not that we should not be modernizing ourselves, but then we need to do something to control the harmful effects of this industrialization and modernization. Delhi, when you come to Delhi, you would come to a desert. This could be Delhi because the rising temperatures can make the land barren very soon. So, what breaks our connection with the environment? It is all the negativities that we have inside, what we are feeling. Any negativity that we feel inside creates a vibration of negativity, and everything around us receives that energy of negativity, which deprives us of that happiness, that peace that nature gives us. We no longer have the time, we no longer have the patience. And what can build this connection is the opposite of this. What breaks the connection is our negative feelings, our negative attitude, our irresponsibility. So, what can build the connection is our sense of responsibility. It is our sense of happiness, peace. So, this is the contrast.
Ma'am,
Yes, please.
ma'am, probably the PPT is hanged though.
The PT is hanged. Okay, let me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me start
Yes, ma'am.
again.
Now it is proper.
Now
It's
it
hanged
is
actually. We can see only first slide. That's why.
okay. So when our inner nature improves, our outer nature also rejuvenates. So it all starts with your mind. It all starts with your mind. Let me present it. So see, you haven't seen the pictures of Mumbai and Kolkata, and you haven't seen the pictures?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay, let me just present to you once again. It is important to see and important to realize that what could happen in the future. So, as I was talking, this could be the future of Mumbai in 2025. The gateway of India can actually become the gateway to let the ocean into the city and submerge the coastline. I hope now it is visible. Now the slide is visible. I hope so.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This could be the Mount Everest of 2035, when all the glaciers and the thick ice cover of the Mount Everest can just go into the ocean because of climate change and because of global warming. This could become Agra of 2040. The white wonder can become black because of the pollution levels that are rising so high. Kolkata and all major cities, it will be miserable for human life if we have to live day in and day out like this. And Delhi, the scorching heat of Delhi, the rising temperatures of Delhi can turn Delhi into a barren land, just like a desert. So, what I was telling, that the connection that breaks is because of the negativities that we have, the negativities that we feel We are not the only one who are feeling our negativities. Everybody around us can sense that from our vibrations. When somebody is happy, you can actually feel that they're happy from their eyes, their movement, their expressions, their lightness. And when somebody is under some pressure, under some stress, they are under fear, they are feeling some sorrow, you can actually feel it from their vibrations. So, whatever is our feeling is being transmitted into the nature. And what can actually build the connection? So, when our inner nature improves, our nature around the nature around us also rejuvenates. So, if I have to control climate change, I actually have to control my mood change. My mood that quickly changes from happiness to sadness, from friendship to competition, from confidence to insecurity. So, as I improve my emotional stability, I become more stable emotionally. I can, in all situations, create thoughts of happiness, create thoughts of confidence, create thoughts of peace and power. I am the one who is transmitting positivity into the environment. And then the environment also can come out of its heat of negativities. So, this is our responsibility now. Whatever physical measures we are taking to stop climate change, to improve the climatic conditions, we also have to improve our inner nature so that all our efforts are fruitful. Imagine you're doing so much physically, but what you do physically is being challenged by what you are thinking. So five you add 5 into the environment, but your thoughts subtract 2 from the environment. So your efforts are not so fruitful. Effectively, you're only able to contribute 3. So even if you worked for 5, you could actually give only 3. And what if you are doing physically, you're adding 5 physically, and with your thoughts, you're adding 2. So with little bit of physical effort, you're actually able to achieve large, greater impact. So let your thoughts be in synchronization with what you do and not against what you do. And this is science actually. This is not just philosophy, this is science. So I'm referring to a demonstration by Dr. Masaru Emoto. He was a Japanese scientist and he did this research. He did the research on water, how our thoughts impact water. So it's a practical study, and he has done much more than what I am actually showing to you. This is just a basic, study of his and his team. Although Dr. Masaru Emoto is no more in his mortal coil, but his team continues to do such experiments with water, and now they've also started doing experiments with other 4 elements of nature, that how they are receptive to human vibrations. So this, what you're seeing, is actually a water sample from the Fujiwara Dam of Japan. I'm sure you all know how a frozen water sample looks like. Are we all aware? Right? What is the structure of an ice flake? Ice. What does ice look like? At the molecular level, not the physical level, at the molecular level. What is the molecular structure, or what is the structure of ice crystals? Anybody would like to share?
Crystals.
Crystals. So how does a crystal look like actually? Ice crystals actually look like beautiful star or flower shape with air spaces in between. That's why ice floats on water, because it is lighter than water, because it has a lot of air spaces in between. So it is a very beautiful structure. When you freeze ice and when you freeze water and you see this crystal of ice, it has a very beautiful structure. And this frozen water sample does not have any structure of that sort. I hope you can see my screen now, because it's interesting to see. And the same water sample was kept in front of the chief priest of a temple over there, and Katohoki, who was a chief priest, he did his 1 hour prayer beside the sample, besides the dam. And then, when the water was again crystallized and observed, now you could see the water crystals. So beautiful it is. And it is too much for a scientist to digest that without treating the water, without doing any chemical treatment, filtration, how can the same water get purified to this extent just by an hour of prayer? So he repeated this experiment with a lot of other samples. So he took 2 bottles of water, and the bottle had water from the same source, and both the bottles were labeled differently. So what the bottle had inside was exactly the same water, but from outside the bottles were labeled differently. One bottle was labeled thank you and another bottle was labeled you fool. And both these bottles were kept throughout the day in front of a mall, from where the exit of the mall, from where thousands of people would cross in a day. And at the end of the day, the water of both the bottles was compared, and this was the crystal of the bottle labeled thank you, and the same water which was labeled you fool became like this. It's the same water from the same source. So, after a series of experiments like these, it was certain that when you read thank you, what do you feel? You obviously feel happy. So nobody is sitting and doing some prayer for an hour in front of these water bottles, but everybody who is just crossing by is having a glance, is just looking at the bottle labeled thank you, feeling good about, when reading thank you, they feel good. And when they read you fool, they feel, what is this? So that one positive thought of each and every person accumulatedly became a blessing for the water. And one negative thought, each one's negative thought, reading you fool, actually became curse, accumulatedly became a curse for the water. And that transformed the water crystals, the water, you know, properties. Now, where do you think, if you repeat the same experiment with these 2 words, where do you think you would get the crystals? If you have the same water in 2 bottles and both of them labeled differently, as you can see, which one would you feel would give you clear crystals?
Mother Teresa.
Which one?
Yes, ma'am. Mother Teresa.
You're very, very slow. Your voice is very, very meek. Can you be a bit louder?
Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa. So now actually, it is not that Adolf Hitler is a bad person and Mother Teresa is a saint, good person, but because all of you must be thinking that Mother Teresa will give good results, so actually that will happen. Your thoughts will make it happen. Your thoughts will actually make it happen. And this is what happened. Everybody had the same thoughts for Mother Teresa, and you can see the crystals, and everybody had the same thoughts for Adolf Hitler, and you can see the crystals. So it is not that the person is like that or what it is like that, but what you think of it makes it like that. If you think negative about a saint, right, that person will no longer look a saint to you. Your thoughts will transform your relation with the person, and that is also with your peers, with your friends. If you have a certain perception about a person, now imagine if your thoughts can do this to water kept outside, imagine what your thoughts are doing to your body, because your body is made up of, the most prominent element in our body is water. And you are the one who is carrying those thoughts 24/7. So what are your thoughts doing to your body? And no wonder we are facing so many health issues nowadays. No wonder our immunity is lost, because our thoughts are actually impacting our nature and the nature outside. No wonder we have so many problems in the world today. It is a contribution of our own negative thinking. So when I change, and what is the change that I need to do? Just withdraw yourself from the heat of negativity. The heat of negativity is coming on and touching, it's about to come to you. If you alone promise yourself not to engage, not to burn out in the heat of rumors, in the heat of negativities, in the heat of blame, one person blaming the other blaming the other person. You withdraw yourself from this negativity, become more responsible towards yourself, become more responsible towards your nature. Everybody is throwing garbage. No matter, I will not do what wrong others are doing. Everybody is abusing water, wasting food in the name of fashion, in the name of whatsoever. No matter, I will still be on my principles. Imagine how we would eat food when we were a child, praying to the food. We would literally say, "Thank you, God, for the food we eat." We have forgotten. So, no matter the world changes, I will still be on the right track. And if you withdraw yourself from that heat of negativity, that can stop right there. So, when you change, the world changes. So, you can be the might that brings more light into the world. And for this, we have initiated a very practical project by Brahma Kumaris, which is called Kalp Taruh. And I would like to present that project to you. So, this project is an environment project of Brahma Kumaris and it is called Kalp Taruh. So, in this project so far, we have engaged individuals, communities, corporates, students, universities, spiritual places, and women, children, people of all backgrounds, people of all age groups, people of all nationalities. So, what is this project all about? Right? Kalptaruh is a unique initiative that combines environment and human values. So if you see the word Kalptaruh, it actually has three words. Kalp, which means your thoughts, Taru means trees, and Ruhu means the soul. So with the motive, one person plants one plant for one planet. We are motivating people to generate the right thoughts that can actually enhance the human values and also give sustenance to the environment, particularly trees, because it is very easy to map the effect of your thoughts on trees because they are very receptive. Nobody else would, a common person won't carry a microscope to see the structure of the water every now and then, but you can see the effect of your thoughts on the trees very easily. So this is an approach that integrates spirituality, which means Ruhu human values, with environment, that is tree plantation, and uses technology. Because we have generated a Kalptaruh mobile application that documents your efforts and gives you knowledge of how to sustain environment, how to sustain plants, and how to practice values that can actually make your life very prosperous. So far, more than 16 lakh people have been involved in planting more than 16 lakh trees, and plantation drives in the past 1 year have happened in more than 3,530 locations, and over 60 native species of plants have been planted. It's very important to plant native species because if you plant any species which is foreign to that land, you will have to have a lot of effort in sustaining it, and it will also not attract the local fauna and flora. So it's very important to have native species planted, and all Indian territories, Indian states, UTs have participated in this plantation drive. And the Kalptaru application is also available in 6 different languages. Also, so many dignitaries, spiritual leaders, and also The President of India, the Environment Minister of India, the Lok Sabha Speaker of India, governors and chief ministers of many states have personally participated and taken initiative to propagate this project to the masses. Internationally, we've done plantations with this motive, and people have started using human values in their life and started to observe the positive effect of those pure vibrations and positive thinking on the environment outside. It was also a part presented in the COP27 climate change conference that was recently held in Egypt last year. And in this project, we have four major areas. First is every individual planting one plant and sustaining it, registering it in the application so that proper information about the plant is given to the planter and they are able to sustain, because it's not important just to do something, but the sustenance of your efforts is equally important, and that makes all the impact. We've also collaborated with the governments of different states. For example, Andhra Pradesh state government has actually taken up this project and is actually allowing and motivating the students of all the Andhra Pradesh universities, because universities have big areas where plantations can be done, students can be engaged, and this is the right time for you to be sensitive towards the environment, because it's ultimately your future which is at stake and you have something to do about it. So collaborations have happened with the universities, and university students have taken this up as their personal agenda to sustain the environment. Nurseries have been created at various places, and different green pockets called Arogya ones are also being created at various areas. So, with this brief information, I would like that all of us participate in whatever way we can. It's not just about this particular project, this is one way, but in whatever little way we can, let us all participate. Let us all do our little bit to sustain the nature that has given life to us, that gives us air to breathe, that gives us water, clean water to drink, that sustains our weight. Let us also do something for that environment. And if we are able to just plant one tree, sustain it properly, we are able to give something that will be a gift to this planet even after we say goodbye. It will still remain there in the planet. So, thank you very much, and I wish you all the best in your efforts.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, I will request all of you to turn on your cameras for a quick snapshot. Okay, thank you, guys. And Vidatri ma'am, we are sincerely grateful to you. And Madam Mukund sir, Dr. Madam Mukund sir, we are also grateful to you. And my fellow batchmates and juniors, we are very much grateful to spend your time and showcase your keen interest towards environment. We will surely take into account your lessons with other women, and I am astonished that you have Brahma Kumaris have started this initiative, Kalp Taruh. We would like to join this initiative, And once again, thank you all. So I hereby conclude this webinar.